Welcome to Spooky News from Spooky Ventures for March 13th, 2020. I bet you're wondering what's up with the green hat. Well, St. Patrick's Day is coming up in a few days, so I figured I'd do it this time because by the next time we do Spooky News, it'll be over. So, with all that out of the way, let's get on with the news. Remember, Spooky Ventures, and this YouTube channel particularly, are all interactive. And so that means please share the videos, please subscribe, please like our videos. Leave us comments if there's something you want to see. Hey, we do take requests. We just put up a request this week for an audiobook someone wanted to see. And we'll respond to you and get some conversation going. It's all supposed to be interactive, so interact. If you remember, I posted an article and talked about an article probably months ago about how there was something weird that had happened during a town hall meeting in Epping, New Hampshire, and how they were going to bring in a paranormal team. Well, the paranormal team did their investigation and they've released the results. They said they captured a picture of what looks like a couple people sitting in chairs in an area where they said the energy felt very heavy. They also heard some footsteps above them, which apparently is something some of the people who are part of the town hall have heard before. So they believe the place is haunted. I'll share the article. You can read the whole thing. But it's up to you. Do you believe? Do you not believe? But they believe it's haunted. I've talked quite a bit about paranormal travel in these spooky news segments. What about UFO travel? There's a new article that gives a list of locations all over the place that are perfect for checking out famous UFO scenes. Of course, Roswell, New Mexico being the most obvious on the list, but there are 10 on the list. And if you want to plan a UFO-based vacation, this is a good list for you to check out. A lot of movies are based on books, and there's connecting tissue between some of like the movie or Doctor Sleep connects both the Stephen King book, which is different from the Stanley Kubrick movie, to the movie. They sort of runs the middle ground between the two. So it's kind of interesting that there's an article about how horror comic books and horror movies feed off of one another. So you should have a look at that article. It's a pretty interesting read. I mean, I know I was talking about literature, but the same thing holds true with the comic books. They sort of feed into one another and work together and play off of one another. continuing on with that article about comic books and horror movies feeding off of one another, there's a new article. Well, it's actually more of a list. You guys know I love lists of the 10 best horror adaptations, horror movie adaptations from popular books. See, I said they feed off of one another. Of course, you knew that. The Shining is, of course, on the list. Frankenstein, The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, I believe. But there are 10 of them, obviously. So have a look at the list and read all about it. The Last of Us is a horror video game, zombie based, and apparently HBO is planning a TV series based on the game. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Did you watch the TV series Bates Motel? Um, I know I watched it from beginning to end. My wife was a big fan. I wasn't so convinced on it. To me, it seemed a little predictable, and each season sort of seemed like a repeat of the season before to me in terms of general plot and stuff. Well, that all was changed with the final season where everything went crazy. But in any event, there's a new article about how Bates Motel changed the whole Psycho movies. And it's an interesting story. I'm going to share it. You can have a read at that and see what you think about it. My thoughts are, it's absolutely right. They definitely got what's right about it. I mean, it's a complete change from the Psycho movies. And to my mind, it has to exist in an alternate universe from the Psycho movies. They can't both be in the same universe, obviously, for reasons that they talk about in there. Like, for instance, Norman Bates dies before any of the events in the movie would have happened. So that's kind of an interesting article to read. If you're a fan of the movie reNext, or Sci-Fi Channel's Channel Zero, you probably will know the name Nicholas Tucci. Um, well, we have to send out rest in peace condolences for him. He was only 38 years old. He died apparently of cancer this past week. So rest in peace, Mr. Tucci. The world of horror, actually the world of any kind of cinema and television, lost a great actor this week. Max von Sydow passed away. Now, for horror fans, he's probably best known as Father Merrin in The Exorcist. But obviously, he had a massive career with just tons of movies and stuff. And he was 90 years old. So rest in peace, sir. fans of the movie Phantasm, well, actually the movie series Phantasm, are certainly familiar with the ball slash sphere, and someone has come up with a new one, a replica, that actually floats. And there's a cool video of it. It's from something called Nightmares Unlimited. Now, the one they're showing thus far is just a prototype, but they're looking into doing a mass production version so that you can get one yourself. Have a look at the article and see the video. It's cool stuff. I don't think it actually flies through the air, attaches to someone's head, and drills in, though. There probably would be some laws about that. It seems that Lovecraftian horror is really getting a resurgence, and there's a new movie coming out called Psycho Goreman, and there's a trailer for it, and it looks pretty crazy, and definitely based in Lovecraftian themes and concepts. At least the cosmic horror thing is in place quite well. So I'll have a look at the trailer and see what you think. There's a new horror movie coming out called The Bone Box, and it's got a brand new trailer out, and it sort of reminds me of the old story, The Body Snatchers. So have a look at the trailer, and it's a modernization, of course, but have a look at the trailer and see what you think. We've got a new feature this week, starting now for Spooky Ventures. We've added, if you go to the main page, you'll notice we've added a section, rearranged things a little bit, and now instead of just the three playlists, spooky movies, spooky music videos, and general spooky videos, we've also added spooky movie trailers, and that's on a playlist on our YouTube channel as well. So we're going to be adding a lot of these spooky trailers as they come out, so be sure to have a look for that. Did you get a chance to see the movie The Lodge that came out recently? And I've read some mixed reviews of it. Some people really thought it was pretty scary. Others found it to be a little ho-hum. But whether it's a movie you liked or you just wanted to see, it's going to be coming to home video soon. May 5th, I believe, is the release date. You'll be able to catch it on home video. Yeah, May 5th. It isn't available, or hasn't been available for pre-order yet, but it should be soon if it's not already. At least the article I read, by the time that was released, it wasn't available for pre-order, but I bet it will be anytime soon. So if you've been wanting to see The Lodge, if you loved it and want to see it again, your time is going to come. James Wan is going to be working on a new horror movie for Universal. And based on the description of the film, it almost sounds like a reimagining of Frankenstein to me. Although, it's a couple sentences, so it could be anything. But it says that a group of teenagers, I believe, find that one of their neighbors is building a monster in his basement, and that monster eventually gets loose and starts running amok. Now, there's definitely a Frankenstein element there. Whether it's being built out of dead bodies or not, we don't know. But there's that sort of creating a monster aspect of it. So we'll see what happens, but it should be interesting. If you're familiar with Halloween Horror Nights, it's an event that goes on at Universal Studios theme park. And Blumhouse is in talks about doing a movie based on it. So that could be pretty fun anyway. Remember a while back I reported on the fact that Doctor Strange, the sequel, was going to be a horror movie. Well, Marvel has since backed up from that, but interesting tie-in here. The director of the original Doctor Strange movie, who is Scott Derrickson, has said that he wants to do a Star Wars horror movie set on the planet Hoth. Now, it's yet to be seen if it's actually going to happen, but I don't know. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan myself, but I'd really be interested in checking that out. If you're a big Star Wars fan, why don't you sound off about it in the comments here? Let us know what you think about it. Would you go see a Star Wars horror film based on the or set on the planet Hoth? Saint Maud is coming out soon, and in honor of that, a number of AMC theaters are going to do a special feature where they're bringing back some classic horror movies. Uh, all of them have female leads in a religious nature, which is in keeping with Saint Maud. Now, this weekend, this Friday actually, they're going to be running The Exorcist, and on the 20th of March, they're going to have Rosemary's Baby, and then on March 27th, The Conjuring. So, if you're interested in getting out, I don't know that The Conjuring really fits as quite as classic a film since it's a lot newer. But in any event, I don't know of another movie that fits in its place. So, I just don't know that one really fits the theme. But in any event, if you're interested, check around for the AMC theater in your area running those. You can get. It would be pretty cool, I have to say, to go see The Exorcist on a big screen. I've never seen it that way. Um, so have a look, see if you can find a theater, and enjoy. The movie The Hunt is going to be opening today, and then that's the only horror movie opening. But a couple important dates. Yesterday was Svengoolie Rich Koz's birthday, and tomorrow is horror author Algernon Blackwood's birthday. And that's a wrap for this week's edition of Spooky News. Be sure to tune in next week for more. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.